First, though, let's go live to Goodison and join our reporter, Vinny O'Connor. Vinny, very good evening. Now, this is unprecedented in the Premier League. How has Everton reacted?
You've said it already, Mike. They said they were surprised and disappointed in their statement. I think it's also fair to say that around Goodison Park this afternoon there's been a fair smattering of anger as well, because Everton will point to the fact that they've been punished over an overspend, but they will argue that overspend was brought about due to unforeseen and unprecedented circumstances, and as such there is justifiable mitigation. They will point to the fact that they've been punished as regards interest payments on their new stadium at Bramley-Moore Dock. And with regard to that, when you look at the fact that planning permission was granted in 2021, in the final quarter of that financial year, interest payments were effectively allowed to be written off against profit and sustainability rules. However, in the following financial year, 2022, it appears that those interest payments were not allowed to be written off against profit and sustainability rules. On top of that, of course, as well, the war in Ukraine saw them sever financial links with USM. They had 15 commercial deals with USM, and on top of that, there was also the potential for a £200 million naming rights deal for their new stadium. That, again, was not allowed to be activated once planning permission had been granted for that stadium, because that was obviously the deal that was in place. And on top of that as well, they also lost player X for no transfer fee, when feasibly, under normal circumstances, Everton could have commanded a fee of around about £10 million as well. So that is why there is surprise, that is why there is disappointment within the football club that has not been taken as regards mitigation in this case. And as such, this afternoon they released that statement, and it was also confirmed by their acting CEO, Colin Chong, that they intend to appeal the verdict.
Myself and everybody at the club are shocked and disappointed by the ruling of the Premier League Commission. We believe the sanction is disproportionate and wholly unjust. The club's view is that the harshness and severity of this punishment are neither a fair nor a reasonable reflection of the evidence that was submitted to the Commission. For that reason, the club intends to appeal the outcome before the Premier League Appeals Board. This is a sporting sanction that directly impacts supporters. The club and our players and staff and our fans will stick together in the face of what the club believes to be an unprecedented and disproportionate sanction. As we enter the next phase of this legal process, there is no further comment we can or will make, but rest assured, we will be standing up for Evertonians and our great club.
Well, Vinny, he mentioned it there, the fans. It's always the fans who suffer. So how have they reacted to the news?
Well, Everton fans have taken on a similar stance to Colin Chong there, and they intend to stand up for their football club as well. I think they're a pretty realistic bunch, though. On top of that, the fact is that they recognise that Everton have breached rules and do deserve to be punished. But again, Everton fans do not feel that the punishment is in line with the crime. They're being hit with a footballing sanction, effectively, when it's more a financial problem that has caused Everton to be in this position. Now, Everton fans have once again come together under the banner altogether now and released a statement of themselves. So this is what they had to say. We write as concerned fans of Everton Football Club. The punishment handed out today by an independent commission is disappointing, to say the least. Whilst we understand the need for rules to be followed and standards upheld, this punishment only punishes the fans, players and management team. It's no secret that our club has been run incompetently at the top for several years now. The fans took it upon themselves to push for change and force the removal of an underperforming board that broke your rules. The people who broke your rules are not the ones suffering. In recent years, we witnessed 6 clubs try to destroy the English football pyramid and line their own pockets. Yet when punishments were handed out, we were told you can't punish the fans. It's not their fault. And measly fines were all that they got. Why is the same logic not applied now? As we have shown time and time again, the spirit of the Blues will hold firm, and we will work all together now to not only make sure we survive for another top-flight season, but push back against the corruption that is ruining our beautiful sport. So that's the stance of the Everton fan groups at the moment that have come together on a day that has been unprecedented, as we say, in Premier League history. Everton being hit with that 10-point deduction, but of course the football club is appealing that verdict.
Dejected. All you ask for is fairness. Ultimately, if Everton are found guilty for breaching the rules, and you breach the rules, right, and Everton should be rightly sanctioned for breaching the rules, but the crime has got to justify the punishment, and it doesn't, or the punishment's got to justify the crime, and it doesn't, does it? 10 points, you get 9 points for administration. So Everton may as well have just gone into administration and took the 9 points.
There are mitigating circumstances. We spent a load of money on players, and we've overspent according to the rules. But there were other factors involved in this, and I know that the club's going to appeal, and quite right they should appeal, because there seems to be a certain amount of unfairness attached to this.
I think it's excessive. I feel like the fans are really getting punished. I feel like, it's a sporting fine, and we've been issued with a sporting sanction. Off the field, the finances haven't been great. Everton are guilty, they've been found guilty, and they should be rightfully punished. However, this is an off-the-field matter. It's a punishment that's been given to the mismanagement off the field. It feels like us, the fans, are getting punished due to the sporting of the implications now, 10 points deduction. It's really down, and, it's hard to take as a fan.
Yeah, good afternoon. Look, it's absolutely massive news, which completely changes the complexion of Everton's season. Chief reporter Carver Solikal has joined us in the studio. Carver, thank you so much. Look, we appreciate this news is fresh to all of us, and we're still going through it and processing it. But looking back through the timeline, how have we got to this point?
Well, if you look at the written reasons from the Premier League's independent commission that has decided to deduct Everton 10 points. They themselves say that this is a very complicated case. Now, just to make it as simple as possible, basically Everton have been found guilty of breaking the Premier League's financial fair play rules. Now, the rules are called the profit and sustainability rules. And basically what they mean in their most simplest terms is that over a 3-year period, clubs are allowed to lose a maximum of £105 million. Now, the Commission has looked at this case and it's decided that in the period ending 2021 and 2022, Everton ended up actually losing £124.5 million. So over the £105 million that they were allowed to lose. Now, there are lots of reasons why that may have been. We're talking about a period during the COVID pandemic when lots of clubs were hit very, very hard financially. We're talking during a period where Everton had spent a lot of money on players and spent big on wages, and things hadn't worked out on the pitch and they were trying to cut costs. We're talking about a period when Everton are trying to build a new stadium as well, all the costs associated with that. Also, of course, Everton have been hit by the fact that Alisher Usmanov, who had commercial relationships with the club, has been sanctioned. So that source of funding has been closed off. But basically, the Commission found that they had broken the rules, and that's why they have decided to deduct them 10 points. Now, looking from the outside in, this is a big story because this is the biggest sporting sanction ever handed down by the Premier League, and obviously it has a massive effect on Everton's season, and it could have a big effect on whether they stay up or go down. I think the only other times in Premier League history when clubs have been deducted points, I think it happened to Portsmouth and Middlesbrough. Yeah. On both those occasions, both those teams ended up being relegated.
Yeah, absolutely. Everton fans looking on social media, hugely concerned. This evening, of course, or this afternoon, should I say. Where does this leave Everton then as we stand here this afternoon? And what are the chances of getting this overturned, do we think?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the chances are, but I think it will be done very, very quickly. Look at the table there. Everton have immediately dropped down to 19th place, only goal difference keeping them off the bottom. They were 14th before this points deduction. I think what the Premier League tried to do during the summer is, because there's been a lot of unease and uncertainty about these profit and sustainability rules, and also the potential punishments, because these cases can drag on and on. So what happened during the summer is they introduced new rules saying that these cases had to be fast-tracked, so that if somebody was deducted points, it would be for that season and the case would be dealt with quickly. So I think this whole process from start to finish, including any appeal, has to take a maximum of 3 months, I think, 12 weeks. So I think an appeal will be heard quickly. It will be fast-tracked because of the new rules. It will be heard by a new panel. And I'm sure Everton are going to put up a very, very robust defence.
Yes.
Because to begin with, from the very start, they were very surprised that they were charged, and they're very, very surprised at this punishment that they've been given today. And they've come out with a very, very strong statement, as you would expect, saying they're shocked and disappointed by the ruling of the Commission, and they make it clear that they are going to appeal.